Selling your house to buy a new one, and today we're going to talk about offer process.
Yeah, we're talking about the whole anatomy of a real estate offer, not just negotiations, understanding, but we're really kind of diving into all of the pieces of an offer because we need to understand this because you're selling and buying at the same time. So it's actually affecting you in two different ways, in two separate transactions. So you have to be on course, and our negotiations and strategies are not going to depend on what you want and your desires. So understanding all of the pieces of the puzzle are going to help us smoothly go through all of it.
Exactly. Do you want to talk about the anatomy of the offer?
We're talking about price now.
Okay. Therefore, the price is really a straightforward, is the amount of the money that you're willing to pay to take the ownership of that property. And of course, that price depends on the market condition, home condition, and also how much you fall in love with the property that you wanted to put the offer.
Now on the other side, when they're buying your home with price, you want to, let's be honest, sellers want to make as much money as possible, buyers want to pay as little as possible. These are two separate factors, and when you're coming at it to do two separate transactions, we have two different things coming at us. So the best thing to always do is try to understand reasonableness is always the best answer, and really having someone that you trust. What are the market conditions? Because you don't want to get too low of a price on your home, but you don't want to be sitting in a house forever that you don't want because you want to move on too. So we have to really consider price is a really important feature.
You wanted to do our introduction?
Yes, well, we're going to do all the other things like contingencies and so much more, like closing dates and all of this, but we're going to do it after our introduction. Let's hit it. Guys, I'm Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Also, you call text all the time, 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Don't be shy. Also, grab our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below. Let's talk about earnest money. Earnest money and due diligence fee. Due diligence in the state of North Carolina is something that is a little different. Most of our out-of-state buyers have no idea what it is, but basically this is money we put down and we give to the seller within 24 to 48 hours upon acceptance of the offer. And we give it right to the seller, and it is very unreasonable or do not expect to get the money back. There are exceptions to these rules, but do not expect if you put $10,000 down on a house and then you want to back out of the house, you have to be willing to lose that money. So it's not typically $10,000. I'm just giving you an extreme example to make you think and pause and say, whoa, right? So where's money we're giving to the seller that we do not get back. It has become part of the package, but it is not. And it's the right to inspect the property and the right to continue on with our ways. What is earnest money?
Therefore, you already talked about
due diligence fee.
Oh, earnest money also is a good faith deposit that basically in the state of North Carolina gonna go and deliver to the closing attorney office, and basically shows that how much you are serious about purchasing that particular property.
Right, so now we're going to move on to contingencies. Oh, and I want to mention before we move on with price one more thing. If you get an offer that's too good to be true, it might be too good to be true. So we're going to have to really read that offer very carefully and look at the contingencies and really understand if it is actually something you really want to pursue or not, because too high of a price can issue a bit of a scam for your host too, so we don't want to go fall into traps either. So a contingency is basically certain conditions have to be met in order for this contract to go through. It might be seller financing. I would definitely run from that if they're offering too much, and then seller financing is a little weird. But financing of the home, the appraisal process, the inspections, the insurance contingencies, those are normal contingencies. Maybe it is the right to sell your home within a certain time period too. That can be a contingency as well. Talk to me about dates, because that's important when you're doing
Therefore, part of the contract or the offer that you submit also is specified in closing date, which is the way that you wish to take the ownership of the property that you wanted to purchase. And of course, this needs to align with the sellers and buyers timeline that they both meet, because you are in a dual kind of transaction trying to sell your house and buy a new one.
Another thing to consider is concessions, and I'm going to bring up the NAR settlement in this one a little bit. This is of course seller concessions are how much sellers are willing to contribute to closing costs or make certain repairs or finalized. Now that the buyer agency is something that can be asked, you can expect, it's very possible, besides what the media tells us, that you don't pay buyer's fees anymore. But if the buyer comes and they're expecting you to pay the buyer fee, are you really going to say no that you want to sell your house? So it is something to consider as well, and it is now going to be part of an offer. So it is something to consider. The news says it's, oh, you don't have to pay buyer's fees anymore, but the truth is, when we've been seeing it thus far, is the offers are contingent upon, they're not contingent, but they're coming with an expectation that the buyer's agent will get paid.
Exactly. Therefore, and also beside of that seller concession, if you are taking loan like a FHA conventional, VA, USDA, remember that talk to your lender, because for those kind of concession, you need to know what is the maximum is for each kind of loan type, and don't go overboard. Therefore, have some study, talk to the lender, and then put those in the offer.
Okay, another thing to consider is personal property. A lot of our out-of-state buyers are always shocked when people walk away with their refrigerators. Refrigerators are considered personal property in the state of North Carolina. They do not automatically come with the house, but maybe it can be other things. It can be furniture, window treatments, appliances. So we want to make sure that whatever you're seeing in the house that you want to keep is in the offer.
Exactly. The next thing we wanted to talk about, negotiation strategy. This topic actually, when it comes to the play, is great deal, because it depends on some different factors. First of all, depends on your market. If you're in the buyer's market or seller market, if you're a seller market and basically there are many home buyers for that particular property, therefore asking for seller concession or negotiating on the best deal might not be in your favor if you fall in love with that property. But if it's in the buyer's market, maybe you have a good basic negotiation with the seller of the property, and you can get that house in a lower price. No?
Right. Now, you also understand when you're the seller, you have your own motivations because you want to go somewhere else. But we don't want to let that be an overwhelming issue to where someone might come and take advantage of you. On the other side, knowing that somebody is on a timeline to get moving is going to help you be able to sweeten a deal and offer them the timeline that they're looking for. So we're really looking to understand the seller, but understand it in a fair way.
Exactly.
Talk to me about balance.
Therefore, balancing, while you wanted to basically get the best deal, as we said, also lowball offer is very insulting to the seller and completely shut down the negotiation. Therefore, in this case, you need to be fair. And again, as we said, if it's a seller's market, it's kind of hard, but if it's a buyer's market, it's still you need to have a balance, medium, and see what is the property sold in that area, and then how you wanted to negotiate with the seller about the rooms for lower price.
I want to also add, if you go too low, you're going to kind of kill any dream of buying that home, because you just shut down negotiations because you showed you were trying to take advantage of somebody. Nobody likes to work with someone when they feel they've taken advantage of. So you really do have to make sure you come with a good offer that's kind of there. But at the same token, let's talk about a backup plan. Let's just say you love this home, but you made a fair price there, but the deal isn't working for whatever reason. If you have a backup plan, or you're willing to walk away, even though you put money down with the due diligence fee, it is going to give you confidence when we are negotiating that you are willing to walk away if you need to.
Exactly. The next thing is, if you are in the negotiation, you wanted to use the contingency, use it very wisely. Because contingency, what happens with the contingency, it makes your offer less attractive, no? Because you put a way for yourself to escape from the deal if some certain stuff or the condition doesn't happen. Therefore, use your judicial and your your gut feeling. Make sure that if you fall in love with that property, you put it wisely, that protects you at the same time you can get that property.
Okay, so you also have to be prepared to move fast. So if somebody's going to take and comes to you with an offer, and they have their pre-approval, they have given you the documents, they have given you the money, we have to be willing to say, what are we going to do in order to make this deal happen? Because they showed for you. So I mean, maybe there's value adds, like they want your furniture or home warranty, or maybe there's not. I do not know. But we have to understand what the contingencies are, understand what they're asking for, and really be kind of fair about it. So we have to look at the safety nets. We have to look at how they used to be crucial, and that's what we're going to kind of quickly run through this. Make sure, even if with a regular offer, if they're using a loan, they're going to have financial contingencies. If the loan falls through, you're kind of without a loan, you're going to lose your earnest money. You lose your due diligence fee because the financial contingencies weren't there.
With some the builders, they do this, not all the builders, but for some brand new builders, they have that contingency that if you plan to go through them, they might give you that due diligence that we're talking in the state of North Carolina.
Another thing, inspection and contingencies. You have the right to inspect the home, even in North Carolina, even though we paid the money. But if you back out of the deal, you have lost some money, and they have money to fix the repairs too. So, I mean, because you gave them the money to do this. So it is a little bit more involved in North Carolina than other states, because in other states you have people who can walk away and get their money back, whereas here they already have money in their pocket. Sellers feel more confident, and if back outs are the deal, it can happen, and it cannot be in the seller's favor to let that back out of the deal either.
Exactly.
Let's really quickly do those last few titles. Contingencies. Appraisal.
Therefore, appraisal is kind of one of those things. If the property doesn't have enough comparables, that could be a difficult situation, but in most cases, if you are with your real estate agent professionals, he's gonna run for you the BPO that gives you the market price for that property, and you need to be in a good shape. However, if you wanted to do that, imagine that if your appraisal comes from the bank or the financial institution lower, you might be renegotiating or withdrawing your offer. In the case of the state of North Carolina, you're gonna lose that due diligence again.
Now, title is another contingency we want to run through fast. Title has to be legal. Transfer is from the property to the new owner, which is going to be you, or you're going to give to somebody else. Which means we have to make sure that you have clear title. And I've seen this happen to where someone doesn't have clear title, and then what happens when you don't have clear title is that you pretty much can't sell your home and you can't move forward. So giving clear ownership is important. And the last thing to talk about is, of course, the contingency to sell your home to buy another. There's probably going to be a certain amount of time you can do that too. So you really have to kind of talk to your real estate agent and really understand what's happening in the market and understand that things can change in a second.
Exactly.
So you might have been in a hot market 1 minute, and the next day when you go to put your house on the list, it's a different thing. So deals can fall apart, and most deals go through, some deals can fall apart. We have to use all of these tools and all of the pieces of the puzzle in order to make sure that we are going from one house to another house super smooth. Anything else?
And don't forget to call us, Alan Victoria Pinder, real estate agent professional in the state of North Carolina, specifically Pitt County, North Carolina. Also, watch all of our playlists and the videos that we put always for market update, and also push that subscribe button. We love to connect with you. See you next time.